here with my ear like swollen, in pain. They're like making holes in it, they're hurting me, they're not giving me any medication like to make the pain go away. Like if anything happens to you, you need to pray to find a good doctor that will not hurt you even more, that will save your life, that will give the comfort and kindness and care that you as a patient deserve. Just having to relive that and like share it now with you guys, I just want to leave it all behind. But I feel like I'm now learning about chakras, and there it says when you have something to say and you don't speak up, you're closing your throat chakra. So I feel like I'm honoring my throat chakra by opening up and speaking up about this experience. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Layla, and today I want to update you on my life. I want to talk about my ear infection that took away the whole month of April because I had to go to the hospital. I had to deal with pain and suffering. Like, I'm ready to share that story. It's been around a month, like month and a half since all that happened. So I think with this video I just want to leave it all behind, and I feel the need to share my story because I share every day on this channel. You know, especially when it comes to beauty procedures, cosmetic procedures, my plastic surgery. I only had one, but you know, I talk about these things because I am the one who wants to be aware of things, you know, and I never thought that piercing can be something that can result in going to a hospital, you know. In September, I think I got my conch piercing. I really liked it. It healed really well. It was no big deal. Actually in Rome, my piercing, like conch piercing, fell off. So I went to the piercing studio and they put it back in. And then I was like, oh, I really want to get another one, you know? And usually my rule is to get one piercing per year. So just to explain to you, I have my regular lobe piercing, second lobe piercing, third lobe piercing on both ears. I have my belly button pierced, and then conch was my like 7th piercing. And so after Rome on March 15th in Prague already, I went to the guy who pierced my lobes 2 and 3, because first one I got done when I was a baby. So I went to the guy. It was very quick, no pain at all. So 2 weeks passed and everything was great. Like, I was cleaned and everything. Only my conch piercing, like I got some bump next to it. So I came to the guy who didn't do this conch piercing, but did my cartilage. It was actually flat, but more like a helix. Because of my ear, it wasn't really a flat, but I asked for a flat and it was like as close to the flat as possible. I'm not gonna show you that ear yet. I will eventually show you the final result after all the manipulations. So I went to that guy because of the bump on conch piercing. Remember, this video is about my cartilage flat piercing, not conch. Conch was fine. So he put this, I don't know, plastic round thing. If you get piercings, you know what I'm talking about. So he put it there. He looked at my cartilage higher and he was like, you need to clean it better. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, because the girl who did my conch, she said, don't touch it, just spray it with saline and that will be it, you know, don't bother with it, don't bother it. And he was like, you need to take a Q-tip and like actually get in there. And I was like, okay, I guess, you know. So I did that. So that was on Wednesday. I did that, and then Thursday is actually the day when I was filming my birthday haul. So, you know, it was still like there, that piercing. It looked nice, it was pretty, everything. That was the last day when everything was great. And then on Friday we went to my husband's family in Slovenia, and we spent 7 hours on the train. So the whole day we were traveling, and I think, if I remember correctly, Friday was the day when I started feeling some pain in that piercing, but I thought maybe I just slept on it, you know, it happens, it heals, so you know it's gonna hurt, and sometimes it happens. That was my way of thinking. So the next day after we arrived in Slovenia on Saturday, I wake up and it's hurting more, and I remember like mentioning it, and I was kind of like, you know, I don't know, it's gonna be fine. And I think that's when I was given Bepanthen, this like gel for pain. I don't know if it was a good idea or not to add it. I don't think it was, but it was painful, so I was like, oh, I'll just add it. So I added it when I was giving it. I added it on my piercing. I think it was a big mistake, but I'm not gonna be giving here what to do, what not to do. The whole thing is just like me sharing how the hell did it get so bad that I had to go to the hospital. Not just once, but like 5 times. I did that on Saturday, and then on, I think on Sunday, I need to find the photo because I actually was documenting everything, and so, oh, okay, I was wrong. Actually, the dates were a bit mixed up. So on Tuesday is when I went to the piercer, on Wednesday when I was filming that video, on Thursday we were traveling, and then on Friday, this is when it started, because I found a photo of me and that piercing, and it honestly didn't look bad. It was just, what I noticed is that it was swollen, the skin around it, because before piercing was kind of like there was this amount of space between, okay, maybe this is too much, but you know, there was like space between my piercing and my skin. And then on March 29th, I've noticed that it's hurting me, and also skin is swollen, so I added Bepanthen, this cream, and I took a photo that I'm gonna insert. And because we were traveling, visiting my husband's family, I was like, you know, it's not a big deal. Also, it was already Friday, and it was Easter holiday weekend, so nothing works on the weekend as it is in Slovenia. So I knew like I'm not gonna get a piercer here, so I decided I'll just wait it out, get to Prague, and go to the piercer on Wednesday. I thought that's gonna be fine. And so then the next day, I don't think I took any photos, but I was feeling pain in my ear. Stuff got bad, I guess, like it was progressing, but I see the photo from March 31st. That was Sunday already, and I was not checking behind the ear, you know, the back side of the piercing, and I don't know when exactly the pus started coming out, but this is when I noticed it, because I asked my husband to take a photo of what's going on there, and I'm gonna insert the photo so you can see there's pus there. Guess what? The next day I reach out to my piercer guy, and it was April 1st. It is Easter Monday, but my piercer guy responds and he says like, go get this like spray. I'm gonna write the name because I cannot be bothered right now looking for it, but I'm gonna write it on the screen. So buy that from the pharmacy and spray your ear. I feel like just talking about it makes my ear hurt because I feel like I'm reliving it all, and it's just like, it's hurting now. April 1st, I get that spray. Everything was closed. There was one pharmacy at the hospital that was working. We found the spray. I come home, and that was still in Slovenia. We're only traveling the next day for 10 hours, okay? So I was like, this is the last day here, so let me just use the spray, and as soon as I come to Prague, we'll take it out and everything will be fine. So I spray my ear, and guess what happens? My ear actually swallowed the piercing. I never fucking knew this is a thing. No one ever told me this is a thing. How is your skin able to swallow something? What do you mean? So yeah, like I sprayed it, and at 4:51 I asked my husband like to check what's behind my ear. He took a photo, this photo I'm gonna insert, and there's no piercing. So at first I thought that it just fell off. So I'm texting the guy saying it fell off, and he's like, did it fall off, or is it just under your skin? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, try to pull it out from the other side. I tried, and I'm like, it's not going out. He's like, then it means it's under your skin. So then the next day we travel for 10 hours. I come home. This is a photo I took, 8:30 p.m. You can see like there's pus. There's no abscess yet, because yes, there'll be abscess, you wait for it. It's just like pus coming out. And the whole ride, by the way, for 10 hours I was cleaning my ear because pus was non-stop going down, and I was cleaning it with wet wipes for 10 hours. Then the next day I go to the piercer, not my guy because he wasn't working that day, so I had to go to the piercing girl who did my conch piercing, and she took it out without anesthesia, any numbing cream. So basically she was cutting my skin to get out the piercing without anything. So you can imagine the screaming. It was actually the worst thing ever at that point, because I didn't know there's gonna be more of that coming up. And I honestly thought, like, once it's gonna be out, that's it, you know, I'm gonna be good. But unfortunately that wasn't the end of it. No, that day in the evening I remember my friend came to visit and we met up, and my ear was hurting so much, you know, there's no piercing there anymore, and I'm like, it's still hurting. This is so weird, but I guess it's healing, right? And then the next day in the morning I asked my husband to take a photo of what's going on with my ear because it's still hurting, and I think at that point it already started hurting to the point where I was taking painkillers every 3 to 4 hours, because as soon as it would stop working I felt this pain in my ear, but it was also spreading. The whole side was, I don't want to even show it on myself, it was spreading everywhere, and it was like hurting the whole right side of my face. Like I felt it in my jaw, in my throat on one side, in my brain even, like, and I felt this weird taste of saltiness in my mouth accumulating. So you can see this is a day when there's already abscess. It formed this like bump. It's not a bump, it's abscess, and it's not a good thing, and I had no idea. I was just like, take a photo, okay, it's healing, and it was just really painful. And so April 5th, you can see it's getting bigger. I finally decided to go to the doctor on April 6th. Here's the photo. The guy who I went to, he was like, he prescribed me antibiotics, and he said if in 1 week it's not gonna go away, I'm gonna send you for them to cut it out. So before we do that, take antibiotics. So I was taking antibiotics for like this whole time. So I'm gonna insert a photo from April 7th. That's Sunday, the next day after I went to the doctor. As you can see, it's getting only bigger, and I'm already taking antibiotics, and I didn't know that means antibiotics are not working. This is a photo from April 8th. You can see the abscess. It's already like changing its look. It looks like worse and worse, and I was like, okay, it's working, I don't know. So here's the next photo, April 9th. It's really big, right? And I remember I sent this to my parents, and they were like, you need to go, you know, this is not normal, this is huge, it's pulsating, it's painful. The whole time, like, I couldn't sleep. I forgot what it is to rest because I couldn't do anything. By the way, I wasn't able to work, I wasn't able to do anything. I was just staying home because I was in so much pain. Like, my whole right side was just of my face was just in pain. My brain was on fire, and I was just like, well, you know, he gave me antibiotics, probably they're working, it's just taking some time. And honestly, at this point I felt like it's never gonna end. This is when I was like, it seems like as soon as I think, well, now I'm gonna take out the piercing, it's gonna help, now I'm gonna go to the doctor, it's gonna help, and nothing is helping. And you can see already April 9 photo, like, it's so swollen, it looks so bad. This has gotten really bad, and I should have rushed that same day, but I waited. On Wednesday I got an appointment for Thursday because everything was booked for Wednesday. So finally on Thursday I come. April 11th I go to the doctor, and he sends me to the ER. And I'm like, okay, they're just gonna like help me, it's gonna be fine. But this is where the awful part started, because I came, and one thing is that, first of all, I live in the Czech Republic. I have been living here since 2015, and I hate it, absolutely hate it. I want to move away, especially when dealing with their public service people, and hospital is part of that, and they just lack any humanity to care about their patients, especially if you're a foreigner. And so I come to this clinic, I mean hospital, and they're just rude, but that's like normal, you know. It's just like them being them, just being rude all the time. And actually the doctor who was treating me, she was from Kazakhstan. I am from Kazakhstan, so you would think that, you know, us being from the same country, I would be like, that was a good doctor. But she was absolutely awful. She, I feel like, didn't know what the fuck she was doing, because I came and she changed my antibiotics to different ones, but then she made, I'm not really sure how many cuts the first time, but I think 2 cuts. And she was like, she didn't give me anesthesia, numbing cream yet again. Imagine the ear that looks like the way I showed you it looked, must be painful, right? And imagine them actually cutting that and stabbing and then like pushing to get the pus out. I've never been in so much pain in my life. Like, I've never experienced like this level of pain before. Like, I never knew I can scream so much like I did in that hospital. And my face got so swollen after this. Like, they sent me home and they gave me a prescription, and then they said come back tomorrow to check on it. I come back the next day. So yeah, that night, by the way, I'm like burning, like, you know, from all this pain. I have like blood coming out of my nose. Like, you can tell my body is in distress. I went through a lot. And the next day I come back, there's like another doctor, just some Czech guy, who looked at my ear and he's like, you're fine, and just cleaned it and sent me home, said come back tomorrow. And guess what, the next day I come and there's that same girl from Kazakhstan, and she's like, you're not fine, we need to cut more. Instead of being like, you know, maybe antibiotics fucking not working, no, we need to cut you more. Also, they took tests out of my ear, like, to find out what the pus is, and it got lost. And so I'm here for the 3rd time. In the meantime, I had no idea that they lost my analysis, you know, to send it out. I don't know if they even sent it out. I don't know if they even took it, but it was like on the bill, like they took it, but it never made it back. So that girl, underqualified, absolutely, she starts like making more holes. And this is like very insensitive thing that happened, is that the nurse that was there, she was like, we need to shave off her hair next to the ear, because like it's not letting it heal, you know. And they took out my conch because they were like, it's not healing, there's more pus. They took out everything, you know, and they shaved my hair around my ear. This is something I wasn't showing to the public, so I'm gonna show it to you right now for the first time. It already grew because it's been like a month, but this is what they did. There's no hair around my ear because they shaved it off. And the thing is, that woman, when she was doing it, she was like laughing, the nurse, like you know, that was just like so insensitive. And like, I cannot put my hair up because, you know, if I do the bun, like, it looks very noticeable and odd that I have shaved the sides, you know. Makes me really upset. I know this is like the least of problems that came with this procedure, with this hell, but like, it was just so scary to be going to the hospital, like, and this is already like mid-April. This started beginning of April, right? Like even end of March, and I'm here with my ear like swollen, in pain. They're like making holes in it, they're hurting me, they're not giving me any medication like to make the pain go away. Well, of course painkillers, but I mean like they were numbing me to not feel this, and they were just poking me while my ear is so irritated and so inflamed, and they're like shaving me without asking my permission for it. They're just like treating me like an animal, you know. Like I've never felt so, like, you know, when you're a child and you feel like what you have to say doesn't matter. This is how I felt. No one is asking me for permission, like no one is apologizing for hurting me. I'm just there for the third time, and I don't know when it's gonna stop, because they're not like doing anything to make it stop. They're just making more holes. They were inserting drainage. For those who don't know, it's basically, because I didn't know before all of this happened, it's like this silicone thing that they put, you know, they make a hole and they put it there so pus comes out there. What I didn't really understand at the time, and what I know now, is that like it could have been so much worse, because it turned into abscess, right, this infection, but it could have actually gone to my brain, and then that would be a fucking big deal. And like, so that's like the third day at the hospital, where I go there every day. I'm not allowed to wash myself, like, you know, my hair, anything. I look like a mess. I'm gonna insert all the photos. And I have like this thing attached to my ear, so when I go to the hospital, all the people are fucking staring at me. And especially like the days when it was warm, it was awful, because I couldn't like cover it, because like in fucking Islamophobic country as Czech Republic, if you wear like a scarf, especially with the way I look, they will think you're a fucking terrorist, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to get harassed just because I'm wearing a scarf. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I can't even like hide myself without putting myself in more danger, because I know how Islamophobic they are here. Luckily, my prayers like worked, because the next day I come there, I'm like, they're gonna hurt me, and they did. But this time it was a doctor who honestly saved my life. I don't know if I should say her name, because like it's a privacy of another person, but she was honestly a gift from heaven. And if I wouldn't have met her, my doctor, like I don't know what else could have been going on with my ear and how it would have ended. But thank God I met my doctor. Let's call her Dr. Fairy, because she's like a fairy who came to save my life. Dr. Fairy. First of all, she was so gentle. And you have no idea, when you were like for 3 days like being hurt, for people to treat you with kindness, it's like such a big deal. Phew. It's like so stupid for me to cry about this, because there are people dying out there, you know what I mean? And I'm like crying because of my ear. Just having to relive that and like share it now with you guys, I just want to leave it all behind. But I feel like I'm now learning about chakras, and there it says when you have something to say and you don't speak up, you're closing your throat chakra. So I feel like I'm honoring my throat chakra by opening up and speaking up about this experience. First of all, my Dr. Fairy, she like was so kind with me, that when she was simply like removing bandages and like checking stuff out, she was so gentle, and I was so grateful, you know. And then she's like, there's more pus, we need to make more holes, Layla, I'm really sorry. And when she was doing that, I was crying as always. Like I was crying, screaming, like, because it was like torture, because they were hurting me. There was no painkillers, it was just like cutting me alive. And I think altogether they made like around 6 holes on both sides, like altogether, just on that upper part of my ear. So this is where the piercing was, and this upper part is where they were making holes. And when she did that, she was like asking me what medicine, like antibiotics, I've been taking. And she called microbiologist, to ask what can help me because those other ones weren't helping. She took the sample to get tested, which I said they did before, but it was lost and never even, like, they never even acknowledged anything. And so thanks to her only, like, just for her to do her job as a doctor and saving my life and just caring enough to call a fucking microbiologist, to send the sample to the laboratory for them to tell us what's wrong. Like, it seems like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it should have been 2-3 days ago. I became so much more aware of the existing negligence of doctors when it comes to their patients, not taking them seriously, not realizing that, like, even the smallest thing can turn into a big deal, and just sending them home to be done with your day, you know? And I think I always thought that doctors, like, they give their oath, right, to, like, not hurt and to save lives and whatever, and it was just so shocking that that's not the case. And, like, if anything happens to you, you need to pray to find a good doctor that will not hurt you even more, that will save your life, that will give the comfort and kindness and care that you as a patient deserve. She gives me new antibiotics and she tells me to come back in 2 days. So this is the moment when everything changes, because my Dr. Fairy takes care of me. She's like, you'll come to see me. She's not telling me, come the next day, the next doctor will deal with you. She really fucking cared. And when she was hurting me, she was telling me that she's so proud of me for, like, I'm doing a good job and stuff like that. And I feel like just having that emotional support when going through this pain, like, was so important for me, because, like, it feels like infection from piercing. It's like, oh, whatever, but it wasn't whatever. It was very painful. It was going on for half a month, more than 2 weeks. It was already 3 weeks. I wasn't sleeping at night and medicine wasn't helping, and now they're also hurting me every day, like stabbing me and not knowing why it's not going away. Like, I honestly lost any hope, and I was just praying to make it stop. I don't want to cry because it's stupid, but I also am honoring my throat chakra by speaking up about it, because that's what I do. I always share my life and everything I'm going through, almost everything, and I don't want this to happen to anyone else. So I want people who watch this to know that this can happen and they should be aware of it and they shouldn't let it go so bad. Okay, I had to take a quick break because I cried, I drank water. I'm ready to continue. Okay, so then dates wise, I honestly don't remember, but I think so. I saw my Dr. Fairy for the first time on Sunday. That's already day 4 of coming to this hospital that completely doesn't care if I survive or not. And so she tells me to come 1 day later, so not the next day but the day after, so it must be Tuesday. That's what I remember. So I come and I remember that was it. Like, I was no longer cut. And she said it's finally working. Antibiotics that she found, I mean, the microbiologist told her to prescribe, actually worked. And by the way, antibiotics, like, I was taking them for overall like 3 weeks, I think, all different types. So you can imagine my body was like I don't know. She prescribed me also probiotics to kind of counter the damage that antibiotics are doing. So yeah, she was checking in on me and I'm like, I'm good. The only thing is that I cannot hear with my ear, you know. But the thing is, I couldn't hear with my right ear early on. Like, when I think when abscess formed, that's when I stopped hearing that well. Like, I always felt like through something, like there's something stuck in my ear. So I thought it was because of the you know, pus and inflammation, and it was. But then I was like, I still cannot hear, but I don't feel pain anymore, I just cannot hear. And then she checked, and turns out that doctor from Kazakhstan, who is underqualified, when she was cutting me the second time, and there was, I remember at some point I just felt like blood rush into my ear. That blood, she was supposed to put something in my ear, you know, so it wouldn't go inside my ear, the blood, like my fairy doctor did when she was cutting me. She actually first put cotton or whatever she put into my ear so it would protect my ear from blood flowing into it, but not that first doctor, underqualified. That I just don't know how people like that go into medicine, because you clearly don't know things, you don't care about patients. Just, I'm so angry, and like, I just, like, you know, just what the hell, what are you doing? So yeah, because thanks to that underqualified doctor, the blood got into my ear, it got stuck there, and I couldn't hear because there was blood stuck in my ear. And so my Dr. Fairy said for 1 week to add these drops and come back in a week. Drops were, by the way, paraffinum something. I don't know what exactly it did, but it was supposed to help her take it out in a week. The bandage was finally removed on April 18th, and that's only 4 days after I saw her for the first time. So on 14th I saw Dr. Fairy for the first time, and I think then I saw her on Tuesday, and then April 18th, which is Thursday, so she took off this bandage. I was finally allowed to wash my hair, and I wasn't washing my hair for a week. And you can imagine, I wasn't washing the ear. I actually wasn't allowed to wash the ear for a while. I'm gonna insert the photo on April 18th. You can see my ear right after all of that cutting with all the blood still there. It was there for a long time, okay, like it was still there. And you can see my ear is still swollen, red. Doesn't look like my regular ear, but it was slowly getting better. Behind my ear photo, you can see it's still swollen but no abscess. That was already a good thing. And so for a week I was doing those drops I was supposed to do it 4 times a day. I started leaving the house, but I think ever since that experience, like, I became so afraid just of everything. But we'll get to that. Wait, I want to finish the story with the hospital visit. So then the last time I come to the hospital, my doctor actually does it. I think it was 24th of April, yeah. And she cleans my ear, and she takes out like this big blood clot that just like blocked my ear, my hearing. It was this much of blood, and it was dry already, so she just took it out and she showed it to me, and I was like, what the hell, like, what? Like, so it makes me so angry about that doctor not even protecting my ear from this happening. Like, it seems like she had no idea what she was doing, because even the second time when I came, she was listening to the nurse telling her where to cut, and the nurse was like, let's shave her hair. So additional awful thing is that my insurance didn't cover this, because piercing infection was caused by me getting a piercing. It's something I did to myself, so they would not cover it. That's what the hospital's people said. And then I was sending, you know, emails to this insurance company and never got a response. Like, I got the, we are like reviewing it, we'll let you know in 90 days. I don't think I'm gonna get paid back. We spent in total, wait, I'm gonna tell you, $500, exactly $500, precisely $500 on those 4 days of torture. Well, not only 4 days, but because then I was 3 more times, so 4 days of torture, and then 3 more times I saw my Dr. Fairy, you know, when she was checking my ear and, you know, cleaning my ear and all of that. So yeah, $500. I don't think we're gonna get them back. And now I'm here. Today is, what day is it today? May 29th. I am gonna get my hair done on Friday. Today is Wednesday, so in 2 days. So with that, I'm kind of like, you know, I want to like give myself a fresh start. I don't know, like, if you're a girl, you know what I mean. I think with all that happened to me, And as I'm reading now about chakras, I feel like my root chakra must be unbalanced because I don't feel like the earth is holding me. You know, I don't feel safe. I feel like full of fear. And I'm a person with health anxieties as it is. And I think if you have health anxiety, you know that like how scary it is when something happens to your health, because it's like your health anxiety was just waiting for this to happen to tell you, see, you can die. And so when this happened, it really shocked me. And like I said, I spent the whole month of April just dealing with my ear. So April was just this like black month of the year for me this year, unfortunately, where I was just staying home, laying and feeling pain, and then finally no pain. Now, a month later, after all of that, I'm still afraid. And I hate that my hair is now like this, you know, I cannot put it up. I hate that I in a way did that to myself, because like the insurance company said because of my decision to get piercing it was, you know, infected, because if there would be no piercing, it wouldn't be infected. I think it changed the way I look at many things. It changed how much I appreciate being healthy. And I'm actually like, why I'm learning about chakras now, and I ordered some other books on health and yoga, is because I'm now so afraid, you know, of pain and all of that. Like I just want to focus on health as much as I can. And I know this is like the way anxious people are dealing with life, because we're so anxious that something will happen, like we need to have control. And I think like this thing happening to me like made me feel I have no control. Like they can stab me, they can cut my hair, they cannot know what the hell is going on. And it's like I started seeing these reels on Instagram, you know, like things happening to people, like, and it's just like I need to get better, and I know I will like eventually mentally get better. Like I need to let it go, but I also know that by like speaking up about it and just putting it out there, I'm also gonna be able to just like say, okay, this is it, let's close this chapter. Another thing is that my ear after all these manipulations looks different than the other one. So I have, if you see, this very prominent like cartilage here, but on this side it's gone. You can see here it's like pressed down, like as if someone actually pressed on it and like it went away. I don't know how to explain it, but do you see like it's more lifted here, and here it's more like down? It's a lot, and I think we all have our own like things that can shake us up, and for some people it's something minor, for some it's something major. But I think as we're all experiencing life in our own ways, we're all experiencing all these things by ourselves, and it's no one's place to tell the other person that it's not a big deal, because I was the one laying there and getting poked for 3 days. One day he was just checking my ear, but it was still painful. And that was a lot for me, and that's not something I wish upon anyone. And now after all of this is done, I am much more careful with everything. Just like, you know, there's always like 100 people who get piercings and only one person can get like infection as bad as mine. And of course I think now that I should have gone immediately to the piercer, but it was just bad timing. There was no piercer in Slovenia open on those days, and it was just fucking holiday, and it just escalated, it just got bad, and I should have rushed to the ER, and I should have done things differently, but it was the way it was. And the most important thing, it's over. But I'm filming this video because when I was searching information about my skin swallowing, my piercing, I kind of like didn't think it's such a big deal as it turned out to be. And I want to say, like, if you have a piercing and it hurts, go to the piercer, go to the ER, make sure, better be safe than sorry, you know, better like have it looked at and said like, no, you're fine, then like be like, no, I think it's gonna be fine. A lot of people ask me if I'll ever consider getting piercing again. No, no, that was enough for me. Like piercings now, even when I see them on others, I cannot stop my brain from bringing up what happened to me. So I see piercings as this dangerous object, you know. So no, I don't want to. I don't recommend anyone, because what happened to me can happen to anyone, and if I knew this is a thing, I wouldn't have gotten it. And it just all is really sad and bad. But then I have friends who have so many piercings, more than me, and they're just fine and everything heals on them perfectly. So of course it's very individual, but if there's this one chance, why would you do it? You know what I mean? I don't know, it's up to you, but I mean, just no. And so I was saying I'm getting my hair done, because in my head I'm like, you know, let's leave it all behind, because this hair, I'm not getting it cut or anything. I'm just gonna like kind of like get my roots touched up, because I have gray hair. If you see it, say hello. Yes, I have gray hair. I'm 29. I had gray hair since I was 12. That was my first gray hair, but as I get older, there are more and more pieces of gray on the top of my head. So I just want to like kind of by giving myself a makeover, low-key makeover, kind of leave it all behind and slowly move away from all of it. But of course, every time I see this hair, I'm like saddened by the look of it and by the consequences of one effing piercing. So that sums up my today's video, and I hope you stay healthy. Honestly, whatever you're going through, just be grateful you're healthy, and I wish everyone to take care of themselves and their health and make better choices and research every effing procedure you get. You know, any beauty procedure, any, like, even piercings can be dangerous, you know what I mean? So make sure that whenever you get something, you check out everything, check out cons, check out, because I fucking had no idea. So like, let me be that girl who is like an urban legend girl who scares away other youngsters from getting piercings done, because it fucking sucked, okay? It was really awful. So let's just leave it all behind, stay safe, and don't let it happen to you, okay? I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. I love you. Bye.